What is the likelihood that you're just not going to be able to complete Uber Eats shop and deliver orders from home improvement stores from Home Depot and Lowe's? Also, is it bad to just be so infuriated while you work, especially as an Uber Eats food delivery driver? Also, why would Uber Eats send orders like this to you and I? I am going to share a profound secret that no one teaches you using this Uber Eats shop and deliver order that I actually did accept from Lowe's. This example also comes with a helpful tip, but that is not the profound secret. I'm going to get into that here shortly. I am going to quickly share 3 concerns that I have about this order, and I'm trusting and hoping that as I describe this and illuminate this for you, my hope is that you're going to realize what this profound secret is before I even share it. But don't worry, I am going to share it with you. So let's get into this order, and we'll step through here the offer. Let me just get in here. So this is another example of why it's always good to take screenshots of all your orders. When I got this offer, $36.49, and I did see it was high miles, 20 miles, and I saw 3 items, 3 units. Wow, how easy. And I do want to say it was at night, and I was driving on the city streets, so I just mostly saw the pay for this order, low item count, and I was out to make money. It was peak dinner time, and so I thought, oh, I could knock this out pretty quick, even if it's going a long distance, because as I come back, I'll be able to get some food delivery orders. I quickly had a bad feeling, so I pulled over, and that's when I saw, oh, Lowe's? I do not want to do orders like that. And that gets into the concerns about this. So I did unassign the order. And of course, I screenshotted all the information here. And my cancellation rate did go up 1%. So let's get into those concerns. So the very first concern is, how much room do we have in our vehicle? As drivers, we know that, and that's why we need to be really sharp right up front to know if these kind of shop and deliver orders, especially from home improvement stores, is it even going to fit in your car? And that begs the question, how does Uber Eats know how much stuff we can fit in our car? If you look, I did the screenshot here, and I did look at what the items were before I canceled the order, because maybe it was some tiny items. But look, here's a refrigerator for drinks, and it's 17.5 inches. Next, there's a 32-gallon trash can. And then, whoa, a 10-amp compound corded miter saw. So generally that gives me concern. These items already look pretty big, and you know as well as I do, they come in boxes. So especially at night while I'm driving, how do you quickly make that decision and know that you're going to have enough room in your car? As a responsible Uber Eats driver, I do carry other hot bags in my trunk. I have a folding wagon. And if I didn't have a folding wagon, I would highly recommend some kind of a cart that folds up, so when you do grocery or catering orders, you can transport those. So there's already something in my trunk. It's not just empty. And maybe if I was doing rideshare still, I did try to keep the trunk empty for luggage for airport runs, but that's not the case right now. In my trunk, I also have a small little container, I guess by saying small, it's not small, for emergency supplies and things that help me should I break down on the road. So my trunk, I would say, is half full already. So how am I going to fit these giant boxes in here? I already knew the trash can wouldn't fit. Probably I'd have to shove it in the front or maybe in the back seat. So right there, you only have a few seconds when you get that offer to decide, is it profitable? Do I even have enough room in my car? And what kind of things are in this Lowe's order? And that's something that you really need to have your opinion set firmly before you even receive an offer. And I am glad that I accepted this. I'm glad I canceled it. And I went in the store just now to kind of get a view of, had I done this order, could I have done it? In hindsight, yes, it would have barely fit in here. But under the pressure when I'm out doing food delivery at night for restaurants, I wanted to get multiple orders. I didn't want to get bogged down with something from Lowe's. What if they were bricks? What if they were things of cement? So I don't know about you. I try to be prepared to handle any situation. My car in general is not empty. My trunk is not empty because I want to have supplies to help myself do well with a variety of orders. And that begs the question, and this is something to give serious consideration to. How is it that Uber Eats knows with certainty what we can fit in our car? How many items is too much? Do they know the cubic size of those 2 boxes for the saw and that fridge? And where would Uber Eats think that I'm going to put that trash can? I'm pretty sure that 32-gallon trash can, that would have not fit in the trunk. And if it did, I'd have been smashing it in there. So if you just visualize, maybe it'd have been the front seat. Maybe it would take up most of the back seat. Probably one of those boxes would have fit in the trunk. But I'm the driver. I'm the responsible person to take care of my car and know how much fits in here. That begs the question, how do we know that Uber Eats really knows what's best for us? Or are they just sending us orders and they actually don't care how we transport them? Maybe they want us to use the roof. That brings up the second big concern. You know, I like taking care of my car. It is older. What if I had a brand new Lexus? What if I had a brand new Model Y? That would free me up to do rideshare, food delivery, catering orders, grocery orders. Wow, can you imagine the flexibility there? And it would be a pristine new car. Even this car, even though it's old, I still want to take care of it. So what kind of things that would be very abrasive or damaging inside Lowe's, what would that do to your car? What about bricks? What about long pieces of wood or long pieces of metal? Can you imagine the damage that it would do to your car if something slides around and hits your glass or scratches something? How many bags of cement will it take to destroy your suspension? Or how many bricks, concrete? Can you see? This is just crazy. And when you accept an order up front, you don't actually know what's in there until you open it up. And so me personally, it's not worth the risk of damaging my car and all the things that go with that. And then also having to deal with, now I've added a cancellation rate to my ratings. And if you cancel too many orders, Uber Eats will deactivate us because we committed to it and then we failed to do the order. So as you can see, I'll show you right now, my cancellation rate is now 1%. But at that moment, I realized my mistake because like I said, I didn't actually see it was from Lowe's. I was assuming something different. And so it's been a long time since I've canceled an order. So I'll keep my cancellation now at 1%, and that's okay. But I'm not going to let it happen again. As a rule, I do not accept orders from Home Depot or Lowe's for that exact reason. So how about you? Can you share in the comments below, how old is your car? And do you care if it gets damaged transporting items for Uber Eats? Please share that. I think that would be so helpful for other drivers like you and I to read those comments and know, do we all have really nice cars? Do we care about them? Do we care about our old cars? I'm curious. I like to take care of my things. And then especially, this is going to lead into the next concern, is pay. Is Uber Eats going to pay us for any damage to our car? And I think you know the answer to that. So the third concern that I had is, how much does this order pay? And is it profitable for me to take the risk of jamming a ton of stuff in my car? Also consider this. How much time would it take you to do this order? I don't necessarily know the layout of Lowe's. So can I go in and know right where the tool is, pick it out, grab it? Also keep in mind, this is a specialized thing. I would think as a customer, they would want to get it themselves, so they buy the exact thing. What if there's a question on a different model or it's not in stock? Can you imagine how much time that would suck up trying to contact the customer to just get them their item? And I think out of that 30 something dollars, I'll bet there was a large tip in there, even though 20 miles, maybe they were only paying like $10 for that Uber Eats order. So just think of your time. How much is your time worth should something go wrong with that order? And then also, let's just say you find everything like I did relatively quickly in there. What about when you paid and then you got to your car and then thought, oh, how do I get it in here? That's extra time. You're not going to just jump in your car and start driving. So your time is valuable. And up front, when you get that offer, the value of that is just going to decrease rapidly the longer you're in that store. And then a more traditional aspect of how much pay do we get is the wear and tear on your car. And I've talked about this quite a bit. When you accept an offer, you want to be profitable. So that's dollars per hour and dollars per mile. These vehicles they're not free. We're the ones that pay the costs on that. So that's something else you really have to consider. Does Uber Eats have our best interests in mind when it comes to pay? Are they paying us appropriately for the time and effort, the wear and tear to the interior of our car, as well as the mileage? We're putting a lot of trust into Uber Eats that they're looking out for us, the drivers, the number one, right? We matter to Uber Eats. So that brings up a great insight that maybe you've already had. Why is it that drivers have to care about their vehicles more than Uber Eats does? Also, why is it that drivers have to care about their pay more than Uber Eats does? And I think you're ready to learn about what the secret is that no one teaches you until now. Here it is. Uber Eats does not care about you at all whatsoever. That's a harsh truth, but over time, I've been doing this part-time for 7 years. I've found this through experience. They don't care about us. Think of them as a middleman. They just want a cut of every transaction and as many transactions as possible. They're linking us with a business, the restaurant, to the customer. The customer's giving our tip, and then, Uber Eats is the middleman to get their cut and then transfer our pay to us. Also, not only does Uber Eats not care about you for your pay, they don't actually care about your safety. We're independent contractors. The risk is all on us. So in light of this shocking information, where do we go from here? I think you may ask, how do I know how to pick profitable orders? That would be very helpful. How do I keep safe when I'm doing food deliveries? And how do I prove myself to Uber Eats? And that's through good ratings. So I've got great news for you. I've made a video teaching you how to do all that, to pick safe and profitable orders, and also to get good ratings. So watch that video next, and I'll see you there.